Video, and we're live. Yes, welcome to Queer Conversations. We're here every Tuesday 6 p.m. EST sharing LGBTQ stories. I'm G, your host, and my guest today is spoken word artist, poet, Butterfly.
Good evening, beautiful folks out there in Cyberland.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about as much as we can talk about. I'm as transparent as they come.
Lovely.
So even before, I was asked, is there anything you don't want to talk about? No, because at the end of the day, my story is also somebody else's story. And I live for trying to make sure that people be themselves.
I love that.
Bold is beautiful, and that's just it. Transparency is the new sexy.
Yes.
So get your sexy on.
Yes. So please, if you have questions for Butterfly and Butterflies, Rebecca, Butterfly Vaughns.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, spoken word poet, you've been doing poetry
22 years.
22 years.
And
that's incredible.
This year makes 17 years full time. This is my profession, my career, my job, my bread and butter, my livelihood.
That's a wonderful thing. You have questions for Butterfly, please ask the questions in the comments. Just join our conversation so we can start talking about that. Like 17, hey, thanks for joining us. We got Butterfly. You say 17 years as a full-time spoken word artist, poet. How does that work? Because even just being an entrepreneur, period, any business, right, is hard.
Well, 3 things. 1, believing in you. 2, believing in what you do. 3, network.
Yes.
And just as you have a hand in your relationship, that in a relationship, 2 persons together, you must be in that relationship mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and yes, financially.
Yes.
On the other hand, when it comes to networking, your networking hand is be where you need to be, should be, want to be, have to be, must be. And of those 2 in the networking hand, the 2 most important that will definitely open doors and lead you to your destiny door, that you want to really walk through, dance through, and move through, is the must be and the should be as far as networking is concerned.
What's the must be and the should be?
The must be is more of an example type of vibe. Let's say you want to go to Carnegie Hall.
Okay.
And perform because it's that prestigious stage and very limited amount of artists are invited to get on the Carnegie Hall stage. So someone who knows your passion, your desire, and possibly heart's interest is to perform on Carnegie stage calls you or inbox you, email or whatever, and says, hey, Butterfly, I'm going to a networking event. And the person who is responsible of booking entertainment for the Carnegie Hall stage is going to be there.
Okay.
That's your must be with networking.
Okay, yeah.
The should be is the desire to be a part of a bill, like a concert, like a big, heavy mainstream concert, and they're looking for opening acts, spoken word.
Yes, there you go.
So sure enough, someone does the same thing again, tells you, hey, Butterfly, I'm going to an after party. And the promoters and marketing and branding individuals that are responsible for the big concert coming next month is going to be at the party. That's your should be. You need to be there.
Need to be there. Yeah, networking. In every industry, networking is so important.
It's okay. Yeah. And never underestimate the power of networking. I've shared this with everybody. I've actually had the opportunity to write a poem for him. I actually flipped his 9 steps poetically. And
for who?
Farrah Gray.
Okay.
And I actually sent it to him. And sure enough, when Tom Joyner had his last event here, it was like a success event. Okay. And this was double-digit years ago. And
Double-digit
Farrah Gray was the main guest speaker, and Tony Braxton was the headliner entertainment.
Nice.
And what was so humbling is when, there was the meet and greet to meet Farrah Gray, when I walked up to introduce myself to him, and I said, good evening. I said, this is a pleasure to meet you. I said, my name is Rebecca Butterfly Vaughns. He said, I know who you are. He said, you're the young lady that sent me the poem.
Oh, nice. Look at that. Is that something?
So I tell everybody, get his book.
Yes.
Millionaire, 9 Steps to Being Successful. And my favorite of the 9 steps is definitely get a mentor.
Okay, yeah.
And then, yes, never underestimate the power of networking.
Yeah.
Translation of that is that lady that's ringing your groceries up at Walmart, when she checks out, you don't know who she is, right? Or what she goes home to,
right? Yeah.
Or who she's connected to.
Yes, yeah.
In the grocery store line, I tell people that's your opportunity window. Jump out of it. In other words, within a conversation between, I don't like to say strangers, we're all kindred spirits.
I like
Our alignment of spaces hasn't met yet.
Right.
Because if you talk to somebody 10 to 15
you're
minutes,
find some
you're going to,
Yeah.
you're either going to know the same people or 9 times out of 10 be related. So within the first 2 to 3 questions of the person in line talking to you, they're going to ask, what do you do?
Yeah.
Jump out that window. Yeah. That's the moment to tell them what you do.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, oh, really? I've been looking for someone who does that.
I know somebody who needs somebody like you.
Do you have a card?
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Fast forward, or actually rewind back to that. I went to a business card forum back in about 2003.
Okay.
And it was about maybe 40 people, keeping it real, to be in the culture of things. There were only 3 of us African American in the room. And when it was over, I went up to meet the facilitator, and he says, before you say anything, he said, please accept my apology. I said, apology for what? He said, because, sometimes people get, uncomfortable when you focus in or stare at them. He said, but you were giving me nods and confirming everything that I was saying. I said, well, yeah, it was true. I said, I was able to relate to what you were saying. And basically, some of the tidbits he said, your business card, never leave home without them. Treat them like an American Express. He said, secondly, when you hand someone your business card, you should get a jump back response because of what you have on the business card.
Yeah, I like that.
He said, also, don't just go around and say you're in an event. You say, here's my business card.
Never.
He said, never.
No.
He said, because 9 times out of 10, people take out of obligation. And, you're walking out, you may see it left on the table, on the ground, or in the trash. Right. He say, only give your card when it's asked for. Because there you kind of secure a more stronger possibility that they're going to reach out. He said, also, don't think that just because you hand somebody your business card today, they're calling you today. He said, no. They're going to call you when you fit something that they're doing.
Right.
And that's true.
Yeah. Well, this is funny because I know Butterfly for many years and as a poet and spoken word artist, and I didn't expect this part of the conversation, and I love it that you have, you are successful because of things like networking.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I didn't know that. So that's good, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to say hello. Hey, Rich, my brother's on. Nikki, hey, Nikki.
How you doing,
I saw
Nikki?
Carla Cardala Hill on.
How you doing, Rich?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. David Muir is on.
Yes, I am.
Yes. So yeah, thank you.
The photographer that knows how to capture you beyond moments.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So if you have questions for Butterfly, please
Hi,
ask
over
questions.
there,
Yeah,
IG.
hey IG, thanks for joining. Any questions?
I know how to swivel and swirl, so
There
you
you
won't
go.
get left out.
So talk about swim and swirl, the words that
Yes.
you come up with during your performances and how you do it. So I'll just go back a little bit for people. So I saw you before the first Dawah Woman, which is, I did Dawah Woman first in the summer of 2014.
Exactly.
And Dawah Woman started as an open mic night for LGBTQ women and allies, and I think you probably came on board in 2015. And I just remember seeing you this poem, and I was just swept away by how you perform. And I know a great part of your performance is freestyle.
Yes. Which gets me in trouble innocently, in the sense that, depending on the event that I do or perform at, I either get a call later or a text message or an email, and they're like, do you have a copy of that poem? And I'm like, nope.
No, right afterwards, yeah.
No.
Well, we did an event together. I remember I hosted an event, came as one of the poets. It was like Cuba to Key West.
Yes,
so,
yes,
and
yes.
you did
Cuba to Key West,
this amazing poem, and I remember
Yes.
the person, the promoter was like, "Can we get that?" I was like, "That was it. That's it." So I don't know how much you're willing to share with us, because I've never really asked you, like, how does that process take place? So to be share more. So we've had probably 10 Thou Art Woman open mic events.
Yes.
You've been there probably 9 of them.
9 of them, yes.
And
9 of them.
you usually close when you can.
Yes.
And you're always phenomenal. How do you know? What's that process like?
Passion.
Okay.
And love words, and also making sure that the person who booked me, hired me, wanted me is satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
You never, in any type of connection and brought on for a project, you never want the person to feel like, oh, I could have got somebody else, or I should have gotten somebody else.
Right,
or even the audience, coming to the promoter. Because what people don't realize, and I love, excuse me, because I can't have ADD at a moment and be all over the place.
Okay. I'll rein you in if I need to.
Yeah, pull me back from the ranch. But what I love is people who have subliminal conversations, social media, or they never know who knows people. And I'll never forget, 2 years ago on social media, someone posted up a post where they're like, there's other people who does the same art form. Why do they keep calling the same people? So I knew they were talking about me. So automatically I responded in the comments and I said, I feel what you're saying, but at the end of the day, you got to give the people what they want.
Exactly.
And, all jokes aside, that's just it. You have to where if it's an event that's an annual event, and there are people that come annually and they get that experience, yes, the next time it's being promoted for next year, they're reaching out to the promoter. Are you going to have that saxophone you had last year? Are you going to have that poet you had last year?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So I think,
and so I want to make sure that when I get on that stage, both parties are satisfied.
right, I like this.
And not only that, just like I say, passion and the love of words. I'm an acronym junkie. You already know that.
Yeah.
I love dissecting words and pointing them out to people to see them deeper than what they really are.
Yeah, I love words.
Because just as there are laws in the law books and rules, but they constantly change every day, when it comes to the dictionary, it's coded. So particular words mean more than what you see them as. So that's why I find myself giving them acronyms for people to look deeper and see the word deeper.
I love how you do that. I love wordplay. But I want to speak a little bit about what you said, what that person said about having the same people. So I think what I've done is a balance of that.
Right.
Because it's important for me to have some of the people that, like the butterfly, right? But I want to give other people a chance to perform. So I think to have a balance, I wouldn't want to say, here's our 11th Thou Art Woman, and we're actually going to be at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts.
And 11 is my life path number, so it's all significant.
So
but what I feel with you, with Thou Art Woman, and how you have me consistently, I feel like I feel like I'm to Thou Art Woman what Frankie Beverly and Mays was to Essence Music Festival.
Okay.
And how every year they were the headliner act. They were the closing act. They were the ones of why mostly people...
But they always got other people as well.
Right. They always got other people. Right. And then they saw the difference. They saw the difference in attendance that one year that Frankie Beverly and Mays were not on the bill. You
Wow.
know? And people are like that. People are like, oh, well, Tommy Johnson's not performing at
I'm not going.
I'm not going.
Right. So I'm gonna read this here. Oh, I just left here. Let me see. I'm always nervous to touch the screen. But maybe I'll
Gently.
Oh, I did it. Okay, so Nikki says butterfly. I met her years ago as a twin baby shower. Something else came up to block what I was trying to read.
Oh, that's just somebody that's posted.
Okay, so Nikki says happy to keep in touch and work with her a number of years. Yeah, Nikki's always hiring you as well.
Yeah.
And then Richard, my brother says,
I love your performance, butterfly, and I also love your stage exits. Something so badass, and I said what I said about them, like the punctuation mark on the piece.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about queer conversations. We always talk about being on the LGBT, being in the, as I say, spectrum or rainbow.
Yes.
So how do you identify in terms of LGBTQ?
Well, for the sake, I'll be honest, I really don't like labels.
Okay.
But for the sake of society and what it really is, yes, I would consider myself a lesbian.
Okay, great.
I've known since the age of 5.
Wow.
Was
That's
not
good.
around it, was not introduced to it. Went through the phases. When I say phases, that's just it. You know there's something different about you. You just don't know how to identify what
Right.
it is. So you go through the motion, and as you get older, because you start crushing between 7 and 8, literally, on that sex, whether it's opposite sex or same sex in your class type of vibe, or church, honestly, or just out and about. And it wasn't until I was like, no, I'm not going to do the straddle the fence. I'm not going to live for society and live quietly my truths. So sure enough, 7th grade, I had the 7th grade boyfriend. 8th grade, I had the 8th grade boyfriend. But when I hit 9th grade, senior high school, I'm like, no, I am living my total me.
That's great. Beautiful.
And had my, first girlfriend at 16, going on 17. And I'll be honest, if I knew then what I know now, we'd still be together 29 years
Wow.
later. Actually 30 years to be exact, 30 years. But at the time
You were
I was
young, 16,
yeah,
17.
I was young, not really thinking to settle down that young and caught up. But Lord have mercy, if I knew then, and
So let me ask you, for your family, what was it like for your family? You're 16, 17 years old,
Okay.
you're now openly gay.
So for family, it was interesting as far as my sister, on my father's side. That's just it. I have a sister on my father's side who is openly gay, and that's just it. When I was in high school, I had peers and classmates who was like, "Do you think you're gay because your sister gay?" So I'm like, I didn't even know my sister was gay. Okay,
Oh, isn't that funny?
My brother was actually the first one that I told. He didn't sit well with it, still doesn't. In fact, I don't have a relationship with his daughter because he actually told my mother that he didn't want me around his daughter. So we don't have a relationship. And as far as my mother, sure enough, my first semester in college, we were on the way to go back to the dorms, and she says, "We need to talk." I already knew what the talk was about. And so sure enough, we pulled in front of the dorms, and she says, "Rebecca, I'm not going to beat around the bush." She's like, "Are you gay?" Naturally, that's mommy. I'm the baby child. I wasn't going to be abrupt. So yes, I cried. And I told her, I said, "Yes, mommy, I'm gay." I said, "But that's just it. Nobody is the reason or the cause," because there's the stigma or the assumption that people think that because a woman is gay, she's been done wrong by a man, or something happened.
Right. And you're like, no.
Same thing with a man.
I happened.
Exactly.
Right.
I happened. I knew. It's just a matter of getting into society and living boldly and living my truth and accepting me as well as who I am. I do have my laughing moments where, in high school, that's just it. In high school, you stick and move with who you are and what you are. So if you're an athlete, whatever sport it is that you play,
That's
you
your
hang
friends
around
are.
those, that's your friends. So for myself, I connected with a few people that, live that lifestyle, not openly like me, but, quietly. And I'll never forget one day I came home and I had one foot in the door and one foot out. And my mom at the time, she used to hot press comb her hair. And she comes out of the kitchen and she says, "Who is this bulldagger?" The person's name. "You've been hanging around." And the person had just dropped me off. It was like we had gone, gallivant after school. And so the person had just dropped me off. They had just drove up. And I said, "Huh?" I played crazy. I said, "Huh?" She said, "Don't play with me." She said, "You forget." That she said she went, old school slavery talk on me, Phyllis Wheatley talk on me, "You forgets. I was raised up in this town, so it ain't much you could do and get away with that I won't find out about."
Wow.
She said, "Yeah, and I know about your Davis cafeteria rendezvous for lunchtime."
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I said to her, I said, "Who told you this?" She said, "Don't worry about who told me." She said, "I'm going to ask you again." So, it went on, whatever. And at the point she said that's what made her ask me is the idea that she started putting things together, and she was like, "My daughter is decent looking, she's intelligent, but no boys call the house.
Right.
No boys come by the house. And so something ain't right." And so, and in the tears falling, she says, "You know what?" She said, "I don't love you any less." She said, "You're my child." She said, "You came out of me." She said, "So at this point, for the rest of your life, mama don't mind, so nobody else matters."
I love that.
And that was my freedom.
Yes.
That was my freedom, because that is what every child lives to hear. Because they don't want to disappoint their parents, mainly their parents. Because to be honest, your extended family and society really don't matter.
It's your mother and father.
It's your mother and father. But when mommy and daddy says, "Come here, you're mine," nobody else
I love
matters.
that. You have a piece that you did at one of the Broward Women events where you did a part of that story.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Big up to your mom.
Yeah.
And to your family who's accepting.
And she is so, my mom is so hilarious. Let me tell you how hilarious she is. When they started to accept and allow for gay marriage, and she brought home a newspaper article where one particular church, where they put together.
Did I do something? Hold on. I'm still
counted,
live, David? Okay,
and
cool.
counted up that there was 100+ years between the couples that were being, married, and in the church. And so she brought the paper article home to me, and I read it and everything. And then I said, "Mommy," I said, "if I wanted to get married," I said, "would you give me away?" She said, "Sure, baby girl." She said, "I would in a heartbeat." She said, "I would give you away. I would have no problem." Yes.
Nice, beautiful. I love that. I'm not seeing some of the comments. Is there anything that you want to share? I was trying to.
Well, I can tell you, all the comments in the last 5 minutes are all about mom. Say, "Go mom," "Yeah mom,"
Yeah.
"Ooh," yes, everybody's celebrating.
Oh yeah.
The mom, man.
Okay, because they're just going down really quickly. It's hard to see. I'm trying to do it. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And I see Monique has joined. Monique Williams, thanks for joining. Everybody who's joined the conversation.
How you doing?
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming on.
If you have any questions,
How you doing, IG? Like I told you, I know how to bounce and swivel and
Here we
swirl,
go,
so
IG.
you all won't be left out.
Yes. Well, I love that. And so, in terms of like relationships, Butterfly.
To all the girls I've loved before.
Butterfly, what's up? I don't know. So.
Well, it's funny you would say that, because on the way here, I was saying I was going to tell you. I said I'm in an emotional situation right now where I don't want to catch feelings.
Okay.
And I'm slowly not catching feelings, but finding myself in emotions. And I'm like, I don't know if you remember that song, "Do It for the Vine." I ain't gonna do it for the vine, do it for the vine. That's how I am right now. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
When you say you're not catching nothing,
Right.
you're catching something.
I know, right?
I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And so, and the Aries in me is definitely being stubborn, like being so stubborn, like, because I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again. And I'll be honest, it's mainly because I made a promise to my heart. I'm not gonna break my heart no more.
Oh.
I'm not gonna allow myself to break my and I'm in a happy that it took a long time to get back here.
Right.
From the last situation I allowed myself to get into, and I'll be honest, it almost cost me my life.
Sorry.
And so I'm like, no. Right now, my only concern,
don't hurt butterfly,
emotional and mental thoughts is my 83 years young mom.
Oh, beautiful. Mom.
My sister, which I call my sissy, who actually she does all my paperwork, so she's not on. But shout out to Miss Donna Dorset Flag, and my poetry performing. That's and then of course God,
right. So
and the angels.
So that's like your world.
That's my world right now.
Include romance is like you're hesitant.
No, right now my only romance is to the 26 letters of the alphabet, and moving individuals that are in the audience for events that I may perform at, whether it's a funeral, a wedding, a birthday party, a community event, a private event, whatever. That's where my romance is right now.
So it's gonna be really hard for that person.
Oh,
to get
very
through.
hard. Oh, very
really
hard. Very hard.
Well, I'm curious to like
Jericho walls hard.
Wow.
40 days and 40 nights hard.
Well, this is biblical.
Yes.
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 So,
yes.
wow. Well, I think it's good to protect yourself. You're open, but you're protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to, do you care what a person presents in terms of the person, masculine, feminine?
I'll be honest, to go back to Mama. Mama, when she asked me,
I heard both.
She flipped the script and she said to me, she said, I'm just going to let you know. She said, I respect your sexuality and your preference. She said, but I'm letting you know right now. The day you walk up my walkway with a woman who looks like a man, I'm going to tell you to make a U-turn because you might as well be with one.
No.
So I told my mom, I said, you don't ever have to worry about that. I said, because I'll be honest, it does defeat the purpose. I say to each his own. I don't have a problem with it. But for me personally, yes, it does defeat the purpose. If I don't want the real thing, I'm not going to get a lookalike.
Oh, man.
So, I really don't get too caught up, like I say in the labels, the lipstick, les,
right.
That kind
but the
of
person's gonna look more like a woman.
They gotta look like a woman and have the femininity.
You like feminine.
and
And then how in terms of gender do you identify? Do you identify as there's so much androgynous?
I've been called an illusion.
Okay, I like that.
I've been called an illusion. I had a young lady that I was friends with, a little semi-intimate, and she told me that I was an illusion. She said that you can piss a lot of people off. She said because you look the part, but you aren't the part in the sense that behind closed doors with someone, she's like, you are very woman. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
But how do you see yourself?
Me personally, I see myself as someone that was created in woman form. But when it comes to appearance and style, I am the Ellen DeGeneres vibe, dress-wise.
So you feel there's a more masculine.
Yeah, more masculine and androgynous type of vibe. Yeah.
So to your mom, who you're saying, if someone's like a man, does she see you as masculine?
No, but at the same time, when I put on a dress, she lose her mind.
Was she excited or
she get excited. She's like, oh my gosh, yes, Lord, have mercy.
Mom. Okay.
And yes, through the years, the couple of times that I've worn a dress and I didn't post the pictures, other people posted pictures, and oh my gosh, we're talking.
Would you still wear a dress? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you would.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you wearing a dress?
No, I would wear a dress for comedy. So I do that. Like if I really want to have
for me it depends honestly on the occasion. For the most part, I still prefer the pants and suit sides and vibes. But yes, if I feel like tipping the scale and walking in the room and creating fire, I will.
You feel comfortable in dress?
Oh yeah.
So that's the thing. I never felt comfortable.
Because for me, I feel comfortable, and then for me too, I'll be honest, My state of mind is I do it because I know I can.
Right.
Because to be honest, there are some gay women that I see, like, keeping it real, butch women, and I'm like, yeah, you're who you're supposed to be, because you everything in life is visual. So when you close your eyes, you're like, you would not look right in no dress and heels. And I've seen it. I've actually seen it, and I've seen them struggling, in the heels, or seeing the not feeling comfortable, that they can't wait till this event is over and they get home or get out of it or whatever. But me, no, I can look the part and
feel comfortable. Yeah, I never felt comfortable since I was like, my mom said, when I was 4, I said, I'm never wearing, something like, please don't let me wear a dress again. I don't want to wear dresses anymore. And then I had to, because of like, I was in school in Jamaica where the girls wore dresses and uniforms. So there's times I wore dresses, and I got married to a man and I wore a wedding dress. But overall, and David, I never felt comfortable. So once I knew, decided I didn't have to do it again, it was a relief for me. But I'll do it for I know people are going to laugh. I put on a dress and strut sexy, feminine, and have fun with it, and I can do it like that. You have a question?
There are a few questions.
Please help.
They're maybe a little over the top. They're Jody Ann, Jody Ann.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Can you help us scroll down?
So I'll read them out to you.
Okay.
So the first question that Jody asks is, so how do you orgasm?
Okay. Let's see what else we got.
Okay.
Second question from Jody Ann is, do you have sex in relationships? And then follow up with that is, or you believe in sex with no strings attached? That's.
And does she have any other questions?
And you have a few other people saying, address the question. So
Okay. So for Jody Ann. Okay. So for the first one, Jody Ann, how do I orgasm? I love words.
Oh wow.
I am a sapiosexual to my heart, my soul, through my bones, past the marrow, feel it in my ancestors' soul. So that is definitely one way that I orgasm, or that literally I find myself, I can get wet.
Great pleasure.
Down between my Tom and Jerry legs. As far as sex and relationships, yes, I have encountered. To be honest, I was always someone that I was never really big on sex. And I'll be honest to why. Anybody can help you catch a nut. Anybody can help you, all of that. But not everybody can get your mind, heart, and soul. That's always been my aim and my game. So when I can get your heart and your mind and soul with regards to, even after we part ways, but you still thinking about me, I still have a piece of your heart. I've won the situation.
Yes.
And then what was the other question? Sex with no strings attached. No, that is not me.
Right.
I have to have some type of emotional connection and, feelings towards you. I cannot just lay with you and be like, okay, bye, go about your business. No, that's not me. Like literally in the, 30 years, honestly, but off and on, because honestly too, when I part ways with somebody, I don't jump to another person. I give myself time to cleanse and rid myself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually of the other person. Because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie Sprung. Haveline.
No, I know the name, but
it was a movie called Haveline. And I'm sorry, not Haveline. Okay. Have Plenty. The name of the movie was
What's the name of the movie?
The name of the movie is called Have Plenty. And in the movie, there was a young lady, her name was Haveline, and the gentleman's name was Lee Plenty.
Okay.
And the baseline storyline of the movie is Haveline and Lee Plenty went to college together.
Okay.
And come holidays or whatever, Haveline asked Lee Plenty to homesit for her or whatever. And basically, in college, Lee Plenty had a thing for Haveline.
Okay.
So he left her a letter or whatever, and she got it when she got back home after the holidays. And in the letter, when she opens it, but she's reading, he said to her, he wouldn't want to be across the table from someone, and he's deep in thought, and the person is like, who are you thinking of? And he's like, how do he address that person and say, oh, it's Haveline's eyes I'm thinking. It's Haveline's lips I'm thinking. And so that's me.
Right.
I wouldn't, if I can't totally be with you right here in the moment mentally, Or like the OJ song say, your body's here with me, but your mind's on the other side of town.
I was just singing that. That's so
No,
funny.
I need your body here with me and your mind.
Right here.
Period.
I love that. Yeah.
And so, yeah. Did I answer all your
I
questions,
think those
Jodianne?
questions. Yes. Thank you for those questions. You can always rely on Jodianne to
She
come.
said amen.
Amen. Amen.
I think she's in it. So I know I want to talk about some things that are a little more serious.
Okay.
Mental health issues.
Yes.
I know you share very publicly.
Yes.
And so I just talk about that a little bit, like your Facebook page, and I know we put it here.
Yes.
You share, some of your performances and everything, but you
Yes.
also share about many different issues that you're really passionate about.
Yes.
And one of those things is mental health.
Yes.
And did I just go from the sex to the mental health? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
good.
yes.
Sex, something
Yes.
like orgasm, mental health. So, but I wanted to talk about it. Something that, and I do appreciate that you share your vulnerabilities and your challenges and everything, because I feel one of the things with mental health is that, especially before social media, before we had a platform, people felt very isolated.
Yes.
So when you
Yes.
share that you're going through something,
Yes.
it's helpful for a lot of people.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey in terms of I know that you've experienced wanting to commit suicide and talking about that publicly. And what is it for you that, I guess, why do you do it? And do you feel like you sharing is helpful to you as well?
Yes. Well, it's definitely helpful for me, definitely. My first thought in direction was at age 23. And it was a connection in the sense that the same day that we lost Phyllis Hyman, June 30th, 1995, I was contemplating that same day. So that was also the mirror image of 6 degrees of separation. I'm here in Miami, Florida. She's in New York City. Had a show that night at the Apollo Theater. 1 p.m. she didn't show up for rehearsal. They get back to the hotel. Her assistant or manager, I guess, and one of the hotel employees. They open up the room because they're knocking, getting no response. They open up the room. She's laying in the bed, papers all around her. All it said was, "I'm tired." She battled and struggled with mental illness for years. Her family expressed that they knew it would happen sooner or later. They just didn't know when. So I'm in that boat. Getting through a 24-hour is really a miracle for me. It really is a miracle for me. And 2002, I woke up in the middle of the night chanting, "Sanity under the influence of conversation initiated by the Devil's Echoes," my acronym for suicide. And I kept saying it till I got hold of a pen and paper to write it down. And from 2002 up until now, I share the acronym. I've actually recited it on several occasions in poems. And I remember the first time I met Pastor Paula White, I shared the acronym with her and she flinched because her father committed suicide. I remember the same thing when I met Monica, for the R&B singer, for the first time. Shared it with her because her boyfriend committed suicide in front of her.
Oh, I didn't know.
And then there was another young lady at an event I went to that I shared it with. Her brother, 2 weeks prior, had committed suicide. And she said to me, she was like, "Where were you 2 weeks ago?" And so I share for myself, but I also share because we live in a society and a world where people literally do think that they are alone in going what they're going through. I remember I did an event. It was like a conference. I actually was on program, and it was lunchtime, and it was go for yourself. You had an hour, go for yourself. So I'm walking to go, get my lunch. And you know how you hear a pace of like somebody that's trying to catch up with you? So that's what it was. I turned around, and this lady that was at the conference, she's like, "I'm trying to catch up with you." I said, "Okay." So I stopped, and she says, "Can I hug you?" So I hugged her. She says, "You opened my eyes." She said, "Prior to this moment in this day," she said, "I felt like I was the only person married in the world." She said, "My husband died about 4 or 5 years ago." She said, and you doing that poem, she said, "You freed me."
Look at that.
And so that's why I share. because you don't know who needs to be freed. Then also to connection wise. Again, unfortunately, we do live in a society where John Jackson, who's a nobody, and I don't mean nobody in a negative way, but I mean not known.
Right, not known.
Just
not
an
a
average
celebrity.
Joe,
Yeah, everyday person.
go to work, come home. He can have a conversation and say, "Oh, child, that new smoothie at Smoothie King is off the chain." Okay, fine, whatever. I, who can't even walk out my door, literally, I cannot walk. In the last 2-3 years, I can go nowhere and not somebody know me. Like I tested occasionally. I'm like, okay, I'm in this hillbilly, hick town, you know, redneck as can be seen.
And someone's like, butterfly!
Don't nobody know me here. Sure enough, 10-15 minutes inside the venue, it's like, you the lady that do poetry. You butterfly. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I can say, oh my gosh, that smoothie at Smoothie King is off the chain. Next day, people who don't even eat or drink smoothies is at Smoothie King. Mm-hmm. So even with the same thing, you can get to where Terrence Tyler expressed, you know, battles with suicide, and it's like, whatever. I express battles with suicide, and people's might say, not butterfly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me butterfly struggles? You mean to tell me butterfly battles, you know, with life? And so now they have someone that they connect with, right, in the sense that shock factor.
Right.
And so now it goes to another level that they're like, okay, if butterfly can keep holding on, I can keep holding on.
Right.
If butterfly can stay in the ring, I can stay in the ring.
What helps you stay in the ring?
I have created mentally what I call bridges.
Okay.
Bridges for me is that gig that I may have next week. Mm-hmm. But next week is Sunday. We're on Tuesday.
Right.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 days to get to that event.
Right. Wow.
I cry myself to sleep. I cry it out. I sing it out. I dance it out. But I rely on my bridges.
The bridges.
Everyone else that have thrown in the towel, they had bridges. They didn't lean on them.
Right.
They had reasons. They weren't strong enough.
Stay strong.
And my mother.
Your mom.
My mom is my biggest bridge, because we're talking about a woman who from 1969 to from February of 1969 to January of 1971, she lost her husband, my brother and sister's father, her sister, her daughter, her mother. So to see that she survived, like my mother's 83 years old. And all of that happened when she was in her 30s. Because she was 37 when I was born. So my mother is my bridge. Events that I have are my bridge. Mm-hmm. Helena D. Lewis, who is about to become Dr. Helena D. Lewis.
Okay, great.
She's my bridge in the sense that I cannot leave this world, because I need to make sure that I'm around when she makes that announcement that she's Dr. Helena D. Lewis. And then other artists that I'm fond of, and them releasing material, movies that might be coming out. But I have so many bridges. And honestly, the children. The children who literally marvel over me. When I walk into the room or when I show up, I have so many moments that I just wow. You know, when you pull into a parking lot and a 2-year-old pulls his, adult person and says, "Oh, butterfly just pulled in the parking lot."
Beautiful.
You know, that kind of thing.
Here Nikki says, may you always continue to lean on your bridges. Yes, indeed. Yes, and you have a lot of bridges. And I know so many audiences. I've seen you perform in so many different venues. I've seen you host the event out nearby Sunrise.
Yeah.
Different audience from Broward Woman. But wherever you are, you know, people really are just so inspired by you, your performances, and what you share.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
your vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And how you get people to also share theirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, it was interesting. I mean, you know, going back, you know, to last year and when I had my meltdown and had the whole rigmarole situation, you know, that, you know, went viral, you know, behind money. And it actually said it was bigger than the money. Because at the end of the day, when someone who has nothing to lose, they will help you who have everything to lose, possibly lose. And I'm grateful. I'll be honest. I thank the two individuals who, you know, blasted me like they did virally, because it allowed for me to see who was real in my life. It allowed for me to see who loved me unconditionally. So I'm thankful, because sometimes when you are pushing, going, you really don't see what you're in until you're pushed out of it and then looking at it. And so that situation, that's what it allowed me to do. And at the end of the day, yes, it cost me. It's gonna.
It challenged your career.
Yes, it challenged my career. It will continue to challenge my career, but in a different manner. Because at the end of the day, like they say, good or bad publicity, it still works. And especially bad publicity in the sense that you have, where people will be like, well, let me see who this Rebecca Butterfly Vaughns is they're talking about.
But
you know,
what's interesting to me though isn't this in a poetry community that took place?
Yes.
So there's a dispute,
Yes.
right? For people who don't know, there was a dispute in the poetry community. I would think the poetry community would be more embracing, more more able to resolve an issue without it being something that had to be public. And I could be naive because I'm y'all are poets.
You would think that, but again, it was bigger than just the money.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, in any interim of entity that you are a part of, when your name is the name that's always being heard, always on the buzz, others who do the same exact thing that you do, they want that buzz too. They want that attention too. It is enough space. It is. But when they're not getting that, the envy, the grudge, and the jealousy sets in.
Yeah.
So when it is an opportunity for someone to come out or to blast you, because at the end of the day, there are always going to be three sides to every story. And me personally, for any situation that I've ever been in that has dealt with money, I've actually taken the blame for other people. And reason being is because from a child, I've never been into petty. I've never been into messy. I've never been into, you did me wrong, the whole world got to know.
No.
I'm the type of person, you do me wrong, I don't deal with you no more.
Okay.
I cut you off.
Okay.
I'm an Aries to my bone.
I'm more like, let's resolve it. You're like, no, bye-bye.
We either love you or we don't. We're high
God.
extreme or low extreme. We're not middle straddlers. Okay? I had in the early years, in the early part years of my career, I had a DJ that I referred to someone. Till this day, nobody knows who that DJ is. Only the DJ know, me know, and the people who he screwed over know. Man. But it cost me. Because at the end of the day, that saying birds of a feather flocks together, people lean on that, which is not always true. Just because you're, and we can wrap this and bring this back all the way around because this is, queer conversations.
Right.
So people think just because you're gay and I hang with you, I'm gay too.
Don't have to be. No,
I enjoy your company. You real raw as they come, So the same thing. If you have done me wrong, you did me wrong. I'll let other people find you out. Right. I'm not going to have conversation with someone and your name comes up and I'm going to blast you up. No. If God says, okay, servant, job well done, calls me home tonight, tomorrow, nobody can ever say, oh, Rebecca said this because that's just it. I don't talk about people to other people in a negative manner.
Right. Important.
If I can bring some positivity about that person in the conversation,
yes.
that's what I do. No person can ever and has ever come to me and says, why you told so-and-so something?
No, the gossip.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Because
my gosh.
I live by that. Like I'm telling you, when I get my wings to the other side, persons who have passed on before me, they're going to be like, dog, Rebecca, Becky, Tina, Maria, whatever you call me in the living, you're going to be like, you was the real deal. You know how to keep a secret.
Right.
Because that's what it's all about.
Right.
That is what it's all about.
Integrity. Having integrity.
So at the end of the day, that's what it was all about. Bigger than, some money collected at an open mic venue. It was the idea that I built an empire.
Right.
Let me tear that empire down. Because everybody knows when it comes to a person on a platform, because I'm on a platform.
Right.
I have to embrace it.
Right.
Okay? I'm on a platform. I'm a public figure. And so everybody knows that there's 3 factors that involves with a public figure entity that if that's mentioned, they're cut, blackballed, blacklisted. Something dealing with thievery or money, rape.
So something sexual.
Money,
sex, and
okay? And then just not holding truth to what you said you were going to do as far as politics is concerned.
Right.
And so with that, even if it wasn't true or even if you can rectify it, it doesn't matter. People are going to still think what they want to think. And like I said, I'm glad the moment happened because it allowed for me to be released from a lot of people who were leeches or who were in my life because they could benefit from me. Or, like I said, just there.
So you got to see who are the sincere people in your life. Who are the people that you really be keeping
And
your
I
life?
have to give a shout out to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Okay.
Because they live by integrity. They live by reputation. They live by affiliation.
Are you an AK?
No, I'm not.
But they support you.
Yes, they support me. They live by affiliation. So when an annual event that they do called Pumps, Pearls, and Politics, in fact, my slogan for them is, don't let the pumps and the pearls fool you. When they didn't drop me from their event, nobody else that dropped me, like soon as that blast went out, and everybody that I was booked with that was dropping me and canceling me out, when they didn't cancel me out, nobody else mattered. Because I was like, if Kappa Alpha didn't drop me and throw me under the bus, I'm good. And I meant what I said on social media. Everybody that threw me under the bus, leave me under the bus. Period. Leave me. And me personally, I'm not a rude person. I'm no angel. I'm not nasty. So if we're in public and you see me, if prior to that or just prior to we had a relationship that when we see each other in public, we hug or whatever, and now that we don't do that, that's because I don't do you no more.
Okay? You just like nod and move on.
I nod and move on. I had the situation happen today, at an event that I went to, and, someone walked in that deleted me on Facebook.
How you know they deleted you? There's so much people. How do you even know?
Because this is how I am. I look for consistency in my newsfeed of who shows up daily.
Wow.
And when a week goes by or 2 weeks go by,
you'll check out.
Or
like
a month
goes
by,
liking something and you're like,
liking something,
you go
commenting something,
check in.
All of a sudden that stops. I said, okay, let me go to their page and see if we're still friends. And when I go to their page and I see that all the 3 options are black, not 2 blue and 1 black, which is the Facebook Messenger vibe, they deleted me.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, keep that same consistency publicly.
Be
because if you delete me out of your space socially, delete me out of your space publicly.
Right. Yeah.
Period.
Let's be consistent. Across
Exactly.
I agree.
And so, and that's just it. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm an Aries to my bone. We don't do phony.
Right. No.
If we like you, we like you. If we connect and there's a chemistry, oh, we good to go. If we don't do you, we don't do you. And respect that. If we in a room and you see that I don't come to you or I don't make amends, to say hello or whatever, don't come in my space. And then if you do come in my space, I'm not going to be rude, but take note that if you speak, I'm going to say hi and I'm walking off.
Right.
Because I don't want
It's going to be cordial.
I don't want any communication.
Right.
And so that happened today that, someone that deleted me from their from their page, they were at the event too. And that's it. I saw them when they walked in. They didn't immediately see me. I saw them, and I positioned myself in a manner to not be in their space. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I'm back at the table in fixing food and whatever, and they happen to look back, and they're like, "Butterfly!"
Oh wow!
And I threw my hand up and put my head back down and continued eating.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I think overall you handled that well. Of what I saw, I didn't see all the different aspects of it, but overall was relieved when I saw.
And then there was consistency, and I say consistency in the sense that 4 years prior, I posted up on Facebook that I was leaving Miami. I actually did a 3-city feature.
Okay.
Baltimore, DC, and Virginia, and of course Simply Sherry was my host. And so we're coming back home from the open mic that Saturday night. And I said, and I was coming back home that Sunday, the next day. I said, Simply Sherry, I said, what do you think would happen if I post up on Facebook that I'm leaving Miami? She said, Butterfly, don't do it. And what inspired is that Friday night, the venue we were on the way to, one of the other posts that was in the car with us, she's like, man, I'm glad we bought, I can't remember the artist's name, but they bought his CD. Okay. And she's like, I'm glad we bought this. He about to blow up. And it hit me. I started thinking back to when Terry Meredith, for Voices of Vibes, before she started the open mic, she used to always tell the audience, love on your local talent, because when their moment or their breakthrough come and they're out here, you're going to be wishing you talked to them and connected with them or whatever. And that's what I thought of. And the minute I pressed send at 11:59, Safoni Toussaint was the first person to come back, Facebook Messenger. Are you serious? From 11:59 to 3:30 when I got back home here, I had over 300 plus messages. I had people commenting that were not even my Facebook friends.
Right, they could just see the post.
The radio station announced it. James T. on Hot 105
they said you're
announced
leaving
it.
Miami. This was a joke.
This was a joke.
Yeah.
Paula from Sunday Morning Joy announced it. The first 2 weeks I was home, literally, when I went out in public. Oh my gosh, is it true? Is it true, Butterfly? Are you leaving? People were hugging me tight. People were texting me, we got to do lunch. We got to do dinner. My phone was blowing up. So fast forward 4 years later, the consistency of the love, the affection, the emotion, when I had my breakdown of, when everything was coming. Because at the end of the day, when this is your life and you see it falling apart, perfect example like with Tiger Woods, when he got caught up in his situation.
Well, I just mentioned Tiger Woods today.
Yeah, when he got caught up in his situation and he was losing his endorsements left and right in 1 week.
Well, the thing about it is that I notice this a lot in the United States with celebrities. So I feel like America really gets so excited about public personalities and they want to just really hold everybody up on these pedestals and excited. But then I think it's like when you see a kid go like this with a car, and then they want to see this come down. So the public, unfortunately, is so ready for that decline. And funny enough, I was in the gym earlier with David, and Tiger Woods came up on TV, and I said, I feel they did him wrong because I don't feel it's my business what he was doing with his wife. That has nothing to do with golf. Right. He didn't commit a crime. And that's
like I say, there's 3 sides to every story.
Right. And
someone said it best.
So ready to tear this man down because
someone said it best. Did you see last week the 2 gentlemen with the 67-year-old and I think he's 35. Either way, one's in his 30s and the 67-year-old was the one that had jumped on the hood of the man's car and they're driving down the highway. Okay, this you got to Google it. Okay. So and they're in court, and the gentleman said the downside is media saw the aftermath.
Right, they didn't see what
They
actually
didn't
took
see
place
what took place
before.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so again, there's going to always be three sides to a story. We only get the aftermath of Tiger Woods and what we were shown of Tiger Woods in the media.
Right.
We don't get the inside. Unless you are with someone 24/7, 365 in their situation, it's just hearsay
and what
and
I was
they
saying about
said.
what I was
This
saying,
what I want to. Who is they?
Yeah.
Please somebody introduce me to they.
That's so funny. Hey, Laura Practical, she's on here. She said, yes, people can't wait to knock you off the pedestal that they put you on. It's very much the case. And I see Nikki earlier saying Aries, and Laura, you got some co-Aries excited. But what I was even saying about Tiger, not to spend much time on that, was that
It's okay. I don't need some Tiger. Because he has so much.
But he is a golf player.
Right.
It has absolutely nothing to do with his marriage,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So if it was something to do with golf, something illegal, any kind of crime, then I could see it impacting. But it's like he was unfaithful to his wife. That's very unfortunate.
Right.
But it shouldn't have torn apart his career.
Exactly.
Right. That should have torn apart his marriage. Right. That's marriage.
Exactly.
So things like that, I feel sometimes it's obviously more when someone is back after America, but it's just so sad to see like. I know that. I think he's doing okay now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, but he had to go through that
5 years.
public scrutiny.
It took 5 years.
Of people excited, like you're saying for yourself. People
It took 5 years.
People excited to tear him down.
Yeah, it took 5 years.
Yeah,
it took 5 years. And like I say, for me, I saw the consistency of the emotions and the feelings of South Florida, but also the world. People from Chicago were calling other people here, yo, go to Butterfly House. Where is Butterfly House? What let me know that the streets talk or people look is those 7 individuals that were in my living room that didn't know where I lived.
Wow.
Because I'm a very private person. I'm a very private person. And so that let me know right there and then. They were making phone calls. Somebody from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Somebody from Puerto Rico called and was like, "Oh, go find her." No. That kind of thing.
No, you got. Let me tell you.
And like I say, I found out that my phone, that LG has a good battery because I left my phone home. And I didn't come back home, because when you go, you have to stay for 72 hours evaluation. Okay. And so I come home Monday, going into like the 2:00 hour, and I still had 62% juice on my phone.
Wow,
but I came home to 211 text messages.
Yes. Well, this help people out here a little bit. So you had posted last year that you were going to take your life. You had posted this was it. And then I saw, of course, hundreds of people. I know I called. I know Nikki called. Everybody I knew were like calling.
I still have Nikki's and your. I still have your text message.
I was
still
like,
have Nikki's
whatever
text
you need. I don't know what I said, but the sense was if I need to come to Miami, if I need to get help for you, and so I'm happy to hear that 200 and something people reached out to you.
Yeah.
And then finally, maybe the next day, somebody shared something. We knew within maybe about 24 hours later that you were going to be okay. But it was a rough 24 hours. But I know, of course, obviously much more rough for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it was rough for you. But it shows that your community is like, really, it's like here.
Yeah.
The people who are here for you.
And I took it, I've always been, the Gail Diva story is definitely another reason why I stick and move and live my life the way that I do. Because in the Gail Diva story, her coach, they were coming off the track from practicing one day, and her coach said to her, "Gail, what do you see in front of you?" And she was like, "Oh man, coach, come on, I ain't got time for your philosophical stuff today. You done roughed me on this track, verbatim. Not verbatim.
Not verbatim.
And so she says, a wall and some trees. And he said, that's just it. He said, we don't like to see the bigger picture. We don't want to know what's on the other side of the wall. And so that's how I have lived my life for the last 25 years with regards to seeing the bigger picture in everything, even the dark side and the blue side. When I say dark and blue, I mean from that moment that you may break down on the side of the road. That person who comes to assist you, your spaces needed to collide, either for you or for them. And so with me, being that I'm an advocate for everything, domestic violence, human sex trafficking, HIV and AIDS, gun violence,
children issues.
Yeah,
I see that.
Suicide. I felt like God in the universe was like, okay, yes, you have spoken on mental illness. He said, but I need you to be in it so that you can speak better of it.
Right.
I need you to experience it. And let me tell you, them 72 hours. The first 2 nights I had they actually put me in the heavy psych ward section of that floor. In fact, one gentleman did attempt to commit suicide with the bed sheets. Wow. Another gentleman, he ruined the toilet.
Wow.
With everything. And then another gentleman, they were two of the nurses were in there with him. So the first 2 nights I had my own, I was in the room by myself.
Good.
That last night, Sunday night, they put a schizophrenic in the room with me. 7, 8 different personalities.
Wow.
7, 8 different personalities. And right there and then I said to myself,
I gotta get out of here.
I gotta get out
yes.
of here.
Yes.
I gotta get out of here.
Yes.
And so, like I say, I appreciate the moment. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I mean, at the end of the day, no, I'm not going to break bread with you because you literally have changed my life for the rest of my life. Because at the end of the day, like someone's expressed, when it comes to social media and certain things that are out there, look at the gentleman who was a part of Barack Obama's campaign, and now he's out of the political arena because of stuff that he posted up on Twitter 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Look what's happening to the governor in Virginia. That kind of thing. So it's going to always minimally affect me, but not majorly.
Right.
Because
I think at some point it might not at all. 5
Right.
years from now.
Right.
But right now it still feels it's going to impact you. But 5 years from now.
Because one thing that I have exercised and I see and I experience that came in my news feed about 3-4 years ago on Facebook, where it says, live your life in a manner to where if a situation like this happens, it's hard to believe it because of the way that you lived your life.
Exactly.
And
so that's how I felt. When I saw it, I was like, this is rubbish for me. It was like, whatever. Because I know you. And I've worked with you for years. So, and
like I say,
no consideration for me.
I've never been a petty person.
No.
I've never been the type of person. So I have taken the brunt, even like I say, where money is concerned, I have taken the brunt and the downfall for the other individuals that have caused the situation or the event to pan out and go the way that it did. Because at the end of the day, what joy do I get from bringing harm to you?
Right, no. So.
And what people don't realize is that when you spew out ill intentions for somebody to be harmed or be affected, you're blocking your own blessings. Like literally, you don't have a moment that you sit down and you start to think to yourself, why these bad things are happening to me? Did you not rewind what you did to this person yesterday and what you created?
When you created, yeah.
you know, and
well,
so that's just it. That's something that I will never ever do. Like I say, you burn me or you hurt me, I don't deal with you no more.
Right.
I don't be bothered with you no more. I give you blessings, put it out in the universe, and call it a day.
Move on with your life. That person moves on.
Because at the end of the day, I live and I lead on 3 things. 1, I was born by myself. 2, I'm going to die by myself. In between is my dash. I'm going to live it to the fullest.
You do.
But the one major thing that I lean on, which is the 4th thing, is the 2 of us, we don't pay each other's bills.
No. All right. So, hey. Yeah.
No love lost.
I love that. Yeah, I think overall, sorry you went through all that, of course, but you handled it really well. And you saw the people who really cared about you.
Like I said, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for the spiritual side of it, it happened because at the end of the day, your life was written before you got here. So when the tax and everything is coming, it's for a reason. And that's because the enemy, the devil, the boy, Lucifer, looked and peeked in through the window of your life and saw the plans and the greatness. And he was angry. So he's going to do everything in his power to take you out. So that's why my 2018 went the way that it did, because he saw my 2019.
Which is beautiful.
And that's just it. January owes me nothing. February is on epic mode. March, my birthday month, is going to be unforgettable 1,000 lifetimes from now. But even just this whole entire year is going to be epic. My word for the year, and that's just it, we're only 2 months in, is shifting.
Shifting. Yes, I love it. And speaking of all the greatness coming up, March.
1st through the 3rd. What a way to kick in and open my birthday month that I celebrate for 31 days.
Yes.
So that Friday night, Thou Art Woman, we have the art exhibit.
Yes.
That's going to be off the chain.
March 1st, please join us.
March 1st. That's just it. The whole weekend. Join us if you
March
can.
2nd,
March 2nd is the open mic performances, but that's just it. We're going to be at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts.
Yes.
Which is a venue that I literally have been performing at off and on since 2000.
Well, let me tell you, you are extremely blessed because I've been on the audience side of that theater since I moved to Florida in 2002 and didn't even have an idea anything that I would ever be on the stage, right? So to walk in there, I was there 2 weeks ago for Quick Show, right? And to feel like, oh my gosh, because Thou Art Woman started right here in this gallery.
I know, which I love.
Yeah, I just love it, just right here. 50 of us, 80 of us, 100 of us, then Art Serve, the numbers keep growing. So for us to be there, for Thou Art Woman to be there, to have a theater filled with mostly lesbians.
Yes. Happy women.
Yeah, and everybody's welcome.
That was something that I have to share this with you guys. That was something that I love doing because I told you I love words and knowledge is power. Like literally knowledge is power. So literally the word gay means happy.
Happy.
So I used to love when people would be like, so Rebecca, are you gay? Oh yes, I'm very happy, honey.
Yeah.
And they would look at me funny or raise their eyebrows. And I would tell them, that's what gay means, darling.
Very happy. Very happy.
So it's going to be a lot of happy women in the building.
And then,
but with people who support us happy women.
Come on out. And then Sunday we're closing with a beautiful brunch at Riverside Hotel. So just really excited to have you. It's been such a like really woven into the Art Woman, the whole experience. Just beautifully.
No, it's been awesome.
Grateful to you for always being there, always being able to tap into where people are and sharing. When you hit the mic, when you hit the stage, always being able to capture so much of what people have already shared and where people are and where people are. I mean, when people. Just
to let you know, I've been playing with stuff in my head for that night. I'm not going to give it to you. It's going to be a balance of a freestyle, but also words that are already mapped in. Just to let you know the direction I'm coming from when I take that stage. So you're familiar with the little girl and every other little girl and boy that has been doing the poem, "Hey black child, do you know who you are? Do you know who you really are?" Well, Butterfly is going to come from the adult version, but with the Thou Art Woman theme. So yes, you don't want to miss
ready.
it.
Don't listen. Get your tickets.
You don't want to miss
tickets
it.
Are available at Ticketmaster. Even that's been exciting to be like,
yes,
am I saying Thou Art Woman?
Yes, Thou Art Woman is available on Ticketmaster, or you can go to the ThouArtWoman.com website, get your tickets there as well.
What?
Trust me, this is a Thou Art Woman you do not want to miss. Not only that, it's our 11th one, and 11 is my life path number.
Wow, how perfect. So listen, thank you for joining me here in Queer Conversations. Thank you for being so open with us and sharing. And thank you everybody for all the questions and for joining us.
Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the watching in. I hope I've said something that will pierce into your soul, but not only that, inspire you, motivate you. And then yes, if you're someone that's out there that's having challenges and battles and struggling with mental illness or even with suicide, catch yourself. Okay? Catch yourself, catch that towel, stay in the ring of life, because you have a reason to be here. You are here for a reason. You have a purpose. You're here on a mission. Just to let you know, if you notice, the first 4 letters of the word mission spells miss. You don't want to miss out on yourself being a blessing to the world. Let your time be to leave here when it is set in the book of your life by your Creator. All right? Pinky swear. Butterfly wings. Bye-bye. Good night. Rest well, dream big when you do decide to sleep in slumber. And for the rest of the week, have a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious week. And when the weekend comes, enjoy it, embrace it, relax, relate, and definitely release.
Beautiful. Goodbye, everyone. You can't get a better ending than that. Thank you, everyone. Butterfly.